Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze, Breezeway Productions The Breeze. And we are continuing our Hollyshorts 2020 Film Festival Entertainment Showcase. So we're going to be showcasing films from the filmmakers that were accepted into this year's festival. And today we're going to bring you director Andrew Paul Montague with his film, My Other Suit is Human. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me.
For sure. Thanks for coming on the show. So tell our audiences a little bit about your film, My Other Suit is Human.
So it's a short film. It's my graduation film from the London Film School, produced by Kira Fitzpatrick while you films. The film is about a couple who have lost their child to an illness, and it takes place after the death of the child. So not concentrating on anything with the kid, and it's about what happens after the tragedy has taken place and how they're coping as a couple and moving forward. Um,
Very good. Congratulations on graduation. We're very to hear that
thank you.
is now completed, and that chapter is completed, and you're moving on to this chapter. Uh, Tell us a little bit about what made you want to make this film, which focuses on loss and grief and tragedy of overcoming that tragic event.
So it's I haven't lost a kid, but like I know people who have lost children, and when I was growing up, my parents lost a kid, and I was always looking. I was a teenager at that point, so I was kind of looking in on them and their relationship and how they were kind of coping, but also coping with like looking after the rest of us and kind of moving on with their life. And it was very observational, and it's kind of how I wanted to approach this film as well, because I think the theme of like grief and loss is it's so universal. It affects every single one of us at some point of our lives. Um, so the actual story of like a couple overcoming grief and the loss of a child always stuck with me. And it was when I approached Kira with the idea and the treatment for the film, like she was like, "Yes, this is great, and we can kind of look at this from a universal point of view, and people will be affected by it in a good way, kind of like they'll see themselves in it." Um, so when I was kind of writing the script and just kind of exploring it a little bit, I saw this analogy of somebody wearing a robot suit and kind of getting inside it to feel a safe space and try and shut out the sadness of the world. And it just made sense as a great analogy for overcoming grief and going through the different stages of grief and to almost just move on with their lives.
When you were working with your talent or deciding who would be involved in the picture in that capacity, did that when they had to reach that place of grief and loss, did you were they captivating in their performances, or did they tell you about something that personally affected them, or how did you end up choosing your talent for this project?
So with Bethany, when she was auditioning for the role, like she just kind of brought this um, almost fragility, but steel fragility with her. So like you could see what she was bringing across, and it was always something that was like bubbling under the surface, this kind of like anger and sadness, while maintaining this kind of like cool exterior. And when we were chatting about it, she loves puppetry, and when she was talking to me about it, she always thought this is kind of getting into like a suit, like in that she was becoming a puppet inside it. Um, and one thing that we were very aware of that she was going to be spending like half the film or just a little bit over inside this cardboard suit with the kind of uh a one expression. So like the expression on the face, it doesn't change. So like everything with her kind of physicality kind of has to recreate what she's actually feeling inside.
Mhm.
So, and that's where the puppetry part comes into it, because like you kind of have to be this expression with your actions, and maybe just a little bit exaggerate to kind of like show like the sadness, the opportunity and stuff, to kind of like move that. um and so like her experience with the kind of like puppetry and the kind of like storytelling aspect of it, it just suited it perfectly. um
Yeah.
and then like with Stephen, like he was the first person that we saw on the first day at Simeon Oaks. He was just amazing. Like he just got the character straight on, and then in the callbacks, like he just kind of added on top of that. And he just had this ability to know what was going on with the dad character, and kind of like, he's sad, but in a different way. He's trying to like just plow on, just keep going, keep going. And with the two of them together, they just had this like natural chemistry of familiarity but separation, and it just worked beautifully when we got them in.
So your film premiered at Galway Film Festival and also went to Woods Hole Film Fest, and you won for Best Cinematography and Best Actor, which is great. Tell us a little bit about your cinematography on the film. How did you link up with your DP on the project?
So Zeta Sparaki, who's the DP, she's also an alumnus from the London Film School. We'd worked together, not as director of DP, but I'd worked for her as a camera assistant.
Oh,
I just loved how she kind of worked with light and camera, and the her graduation film that she had shot before. It was a similar style of what I love to kind of see with these kind of like broad uh landscapes and like just vastness, and then like working with the light inside rooms and stuff. She was just perfect for things. So like we get on great outside. So it's like, Zeta, have a read of the script, see what you think. I really want you to be involved in this. And she loved it, luckily enough, and she just really wanted to come on board. And yeah, it was a great working relationship. And we've shot a music video together as well, just recently as well.
I could tell you have crew experience from the wonderful fashion state that both of us have with our solid black shirts. It's pretty standard for crew wear. So you've had that
Absolutely.
eye before you directed this project and made it. You've been on the set. You've been in AC. You are familiar with cameras and different types of lenses to utilize and lighting and whatnot. So you were able to work with her from using that as a you using experience with that, so you were able to achieve some pretty great cinematography for it, which is pretty wonderful. So there's the robot that's involved with the project. They're saying that that's definitely a little bit different. It's a type of therapy for people after they're going through such a loss or helping with coping. Do you think that something like this could be achievable in the near future for people and become a reality? So that they can help with their grief because of with robots and technology in general.
I think so. I mean, I think technology changes all the time for kind of like how people kind of get through these kind of emotions. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be all new manner of like ways of actually coping with grief. I'm not sure about getting inside a robot suit will probably help them or not. I mean, I think it's just a very individual thing.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, like all kind of like technology wise, definitely the future is going to help a lot with the kind of like dealing with emotions, being able to have therapy online, and just therapy robots. I know is actually something that's coming up in the future as well.
yeah.
So yeah, technology is going to have huge input on kind of these things in the future.
We can only hope for positive technological advancements in the future in this department, and that we hope that people that do suffer these type of tragic losses and incidents will be able to handle their grief with. It will be a storm, but hopefully they get through it onto the other side in a positive manner. But in closing, is there anything that you would like to say to the Hollyshorts Film Festival organization for your acceptance into this year's 2020 Film Festival?
I know like from all my other Series Human team, thank you so much for accepting into this amazing festival. It's my first time in. I think it's my first time applying as well. So like, we'd love to be there, and we're just so delighted to be a part of this kind of amazing festival with history associated with it. It's fantastic for us, and we're really really happy.
It's a wonderful festival, and we're happy to bring all different types of projects that are official selections of this year to our audiences to talk about it. 2020 has been a roller coaster of a year, as everybody knows who's watching this. So the film festivals will live on. And thank goodness for technology and the virtual theaters that people can go to check out these types of segments. So again, the film's name is My Other Suit is Human, and we have director Andrew Paul Montague here with us today. And I want to thank you for coming on the show to talk about your film.